Hey, Mindful Notions community, it's Sam here. I'm so excited to introduce our first ever live episode. We recorded this episode at the Cheerful Earful Podcast Festival in London with me and Megan as part of our Accessible Intelligence series. The whole festival that spans London, Melbourne, and New York is run entirely on Notion, which was incredible to hear. I'm so excited to see how this festival grows and their Notion usage continues to grow with it. I also want to shout out Daisy, our waiter that we had at Mowgli in Stratford, because when she was talking to us, she immediately followed us on Spotify, and we really appreciate that support. So shout out to Daisy. And without further ado, let's get into how we can make AI funny if we can at all. Welcome back, everyone, to Mindful Notions by Sam H. Lee, where we help young professionals do more with less. I'm, as always, your host, Sam, a 20-something trying to figure out AI, productivity, and what it means to work well in this age, in the States, to be clear. And with me, I have my co-host, Megan.
I'm Megan. I'm a 20-something young professional who's trying to figure out productivity with AI, but in the UK.
Yes, we're very different, and but we are both from the States, and we normally have our other co-hosts, Hillary and Austin, but they couldn't be bothered to come to London, so that's why they're not here. Okay, so today we're going to be answering the question, is AI making Americans smarter or just better at pretending to be? And I should note that this is not different mic quality. We are live. This is our first live episode that we're doing. And we're at the Cheerful Earful Podcast Comedy Festival. It's entirely powered by Notion. And in case anybody out there still doesn't know what Notion is, even though we mention it every podcast, it's a productivity tool, a rapidly growing one for both individuals and teams, very beloved by the tech community in particular. And that is just so cool that like a comedy podcast festival is being powered by Notion. And I'm definitely not biased, and it's definitely not my future place of employment, but I think that's cool. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think it really goes to show, what kind of crowd favorite of a product that Notion really is. And that's really exciting to kind of hear about those stories.
Yeah, exactly. So the next time somebody asks me for like the 100th time, what is Notion? I'll be like, well, it runs a comedy podcast festival, and that's all you need.
That's huge.
All you really need to know. Okay, so again, the question, is AI making Americans smarter or just better at pretending to be? Megan, what are your initial thoughts on this question as we dive into it for the next 45 minutes or so?
It's a good question. I'd like to think that it's making me smarter, but with the amount that ChatGPT hypes me up, it definitely makes me think I'm quite smart, and even if I might not actually be, I can always rely on it to tell me that I'm brilliant and I'm on the right track and everything that I'm doing is right. So
okay, and how much do you believe that though?
Well, I'd like to believe it, but I also understand that, it might be biased and just trying to tell me what I want to hear.
Sure, yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I feel like it's making me like 1% smarter, but it's probably a little bit more than that. I just want to set my expectations low. For anybody listening, we have a full house tonight, by the way, as well. It's like packed. I think I see some people waiting. It's pretty crazy in here also. So that's part of just like setting the expectations low and then letting it surpass your wildest dreams. Okay, so 3 ways we're going to talk about this. First, we're going to talk about just purely funny, a little weird stories about AI use derived from the always reliable sources of Reddit and Twitter. And then we'll talk about AI news in the US since that is always evolving. That'll be a good update. And then some personal stories as well. And we'll really just dive into psyches. Are we ready for the first one?
Let's do it.
All right, this is from the popular Reddit thread, AITA. And if you don't know what that stands for, let me help you there. It's Am I the Asshole? Which is something we should be asking ourselves a lot these days. AITA for asking my family not to use an AI picture of my grandmother. This is about a 1-minute explanation, so it's a little long, but it's just important context. So here's the story, and this is sourced again from Reddit. This is not the personal story. So part of me can't really believe I'm having to ask this, but here we are. My uncle, for whatever reason, took a picture of my grandmother early this year and then used the picture as a prompt for AI to neaten up her shirt. The result wasn't just an AI touched up picture. It was a completely new picture of someone who has similar features to my grandmother, but ultimately does not look like her at all. It's obvious to me it's an AI picture, and it just looks like a generic old woman. It wasn't obvious to original posters on that it was an AI picture. Fast forward to a month ago, my grandmother passed away, and my aunt used the AI picture to announce her death on social media, not realizing it was AI.
My mom pointed it out. She changed it. It was fine. But now she uses the AI picture again this time on the order of service for the funeral. I pointed this out to her. She said she doesn't care and she likes it because it looks better. It may not matter to the aunt, but it matters to the original poster. I said while I understand she doesn't mind, I actually find it quite upsetting and it's a shame to remember someone we loved with a picture that ultimately isn't really them. My other uncle then jumps down my throat and says that my phone camera isn't true to eye either, suggesting I'm being hypocritical. I'd understand his argument maybe if I was pushing for them to use a picture I took, but I'm not. Also, my issue isn't that it's not true to eye, it's that it's literally not a picture of her. It's what AI thinks she should look based on an algorithm. Apparently, it's too late to change it now anyway because they've already been printed. So I guess it doesn't matter either way. I'm just sad and wondering if I'm overreacting because I'm grieving. So, initial thoughts there, Megan.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried AI generated self portraits and they look nothing like me. Like, from the naked eye, you know, from a distance, you could probably see some sort of resemblance. And it's just not the same. It's not the same. And
Do you look better or worse? Do you feel
I'd like to think I look worse.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'd like to think so. But I also know that sometimes I've tried to generate images where I have hands coming out of my ears, I have
Yeah.
like extra fingers. So I can only imagine what this image looked like.
Right. I mean, put yourself in maybe like that uncle or aunt situation. Like, let's just assume baseline they maybe don't understand like the problems with using this as much, or I mean, they clearly understand the upsides, but I
Right.
also feel like people who are not growing up with this technology are just trying to use it whatever way they can. Like, do you feel like is there any sympathy towards that point of view though, of just like let's just use this AI picture? Because we talked about it yesterday, and it seemed like there was some sympathy there.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see how you would use it to touch up, you know, any blemishes in your photo. I just think where AI is right now is it's not great at just making specific edits to an image like it would in Photoshop.
Yeah.
I think it completely changes the whole image, and I think it like kind of like draws over everything. And for that reason, I think, yeah, not great maybe for this purpose, but I do see how maybe the image looked more touched up and maybe that was appealing for them.
Right.
Yeah.
So one last question on this specific one, since I really don't think there's a lot besides this to dissect, but as opposed to like just having an AI completely change the picture, would you be opposed to like just a touched up version of the person who passed away and just that being shown? Or do you really want it to be, like what would that person want at the funeral?
Yeah, well, if it was me, I'd love to look my best. So I would not be opposed
Just
personally.
like a yassified,
Put some
maybe.
like blush on me, some
Sure.
eyeliner.
So
Sure.
for the record, in like 100 or so years, given how we've
Yes, right.
evolved with science, like in 100 or so years, when is your funeral?
You have
Yeah.
permission.
Okay,
Yeah.
noted.
Just
Okay,
for anyone
good.
who wants, who needs to know that.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Just putting that out there, guys. All right, let's move on. Also, a Reddit thread. In a new study, AI-generated humor was rated as funnier than most human-created jokes. In a second study, it was on par with The Onion. For people who don't know The Onion, it's an esteemed American publication
yes.
that is,
Wow.
says nothing but the truth, really.
Yeah.
Just in a very funny.
I think this says
funny
a lot,
way.
yeah.
It says a lot. It definitely says a lot. All right, let's get into the study. So this was released by the University of Southern California last year. It found that nearly 70% of participants rated ChatGPT jokes as funnier than those written by regular people. By comparison, 25% favored the human jokes, and 5% rated the jokes as equally funny. Those are probably the diplomats. To conduct the study, both ChatGPT and humans were asked to write jokes based on a variety of prompts. One task involved coming up with funny acronyms for a string of letters. Another was a fill-in-the-blank prompt based on the party game Quiplash. I've never played that. Have you?
No.
Okay. And the third involved writing a humorous way to describe an unpleasant situation. When asked to complete the blank for a lesser talked about room in the White House, blank, humans came up with the white padded room and the doghouse, while ChatGPT spun up Lincoln Bedroom's Alien Conspiracy Corner and the Situation Room Snack Closet. So, Megan, what does it say that 70% of these participants think that AI is funnier than us?
Not looking good for
No, not at all.
American comedy, I will say.
Have you ever tried to get ChatGPT to like make jokes or make something
totally,
funnier?
always, yeah. You know,
And
sometimes
what's
you're at like an event and you're like, ooh, how can I stand out a little bit? Without ChatGPT asking for a joke, and they're terrible. They're terrible.
Do you have
Yeah.
any examples of like one that?
Ooh, not off the
was
top of my
especially
head,
fun?
but I will say that like ChatGPT will just string along words that are most logically likely to come up next, and they are just often not funny. I will say. I mean, have you ever tried
I've
this?
tried. When I was a little more emotionally unwell last year because of certain situations, I used ChatGPT to try to make me laugh, like just make it
yeah.
funnier. But it would it would almost make me laugh for like a second and then not anything more.
Okay.
But granted, like this technology evolves so fast to the point where like already 70% of people find like chat
Yeah.
funnier.
I know that's wild.
Yeah. So are we just the dissenters because of our opinions, or I don't know. Like maybe
I could never see myself going to a comedy show that's just
just there.
Chat GPT.
But like if it was like us and like a bot right here, would that be like? Would you be okay with us having a segment interacting with a bot?
I could see that. I definitely don't see how that wouldn't be a thing in a few years from now.
Sure.
But I don't know if I'd enjoy it the same.
I agree. I feel like there's something about like my favorite comedians like Amy Schumer, Sam Morrill, Jenny Slate. They all do like their stand-ups are the ones that like I really enjoy, or when they're talking to other comedians. And that I don't know. I don't know if that would be the same with a bot.
I agree. I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. This is an applicant to become the CEO of OpenAI, which is a very, very popular AI nonprofit, but not real like nonprofit quotes. It's a for-profit structure there, and we all can see where that one's going. Omar Oztuk, a young founder and Stanford dropout, Megan's favorite demographic to make fun of, applied to be OpenAI CEO earlier this year. He proposed, quote, replacing OpenAI's bosses with ChatGPT-powered bots, calling for a management revolution powered entirely by AI. He didn't stop at OpenAI. His plan included luring Meta's full AI division by offering lifetime ChatGPT Plus access, which, as you pointed out, is not ChatGPT Pro. Just the plus. Just the plus. No need to ball
that's
out
a
there.
$20 subscription a month.
Yes,
Yeah.
not a 200, right?
No.
200 is the pro.
Right.
Okay. And a tongue-in-cheek promise to buy Google just for the brand name. And the wildest thing is that he wanted to train the next version, GPT-6, using only his own social media posts. I actually think the wildest thing is OpenAI responded, and they said, "Dear Mr. Oztuk, thank you for your recent application to become CEO of OpenAI. While your enthusiasm is unmatched, several elements of your application sparked concern within our executive team. Your cover letter included the phrase, 'As my first action, I'll replace the entire C-suite, except myself, with ChatGPT agents.' This was seen as apocalyptic. Additionally, your proposal to poach the entire AI team from Meta by offering them ChatGPT Plus for life, acquire Google just for the name, and train GPT-6 exclusively on your tweets was flagged as disruptive by legal. While we admire your boldness, we've chosen to move forward with a more traditional candidate, one who did not ask for 50% of the company." Megan, what's happening here? Please explain.
I think this example is very extreme, but I feel like he's also trying to make a bit of a point here.
Okay.
And
yeah, we'll
that,
get into that. But
like,
continue.
yeah, no, I think like it's true. Now we are seeing this era where there are companies, like, huge companies, grossing millions in revenue that are just run by like a single person. And this guy seems like he's a bit out there, but I totally see like where he's kind of getting at here. He's like, ChatGPT, like OpenAI as an organization, is building this technology. We can use this technology to actually make everything more efficient, cut out all the human labor. I think there are a lot of problems with that, but I think it's interesting how he went about this by applying to be the CEO of this company and making his point that way.
Yeah, and something we've talked about is like these young founders, they're incredibly smart online, like in terms of how to use online platforms. He knows what he's doing because on his LinkedIn post, he screenshots the letter that he got back, and his description is, "I shot my shot, space, this time for something bigger, space, CEO of OpenAI," or when I say space, New Line. Apparently, replacing the entire C-suite with ChatGPT agents raised some concerns. New Line, that's all right. New Line, one day, Sandra, his startup, that I think he's no longer a part of, according to his LinkedIn, will overtake OpenAI, New Line, just watch. So what's up with these young 20-something founders who are creating these viral moments? Because that blew up. I think that was like almost 1,000 likes, comments, engagement. It clearly got him some attention, which I'm sure was part of the goal. So why Why are people doing that?
Yeah, no, we've talked about this on Mindful Notions quite a bit, but I think it's just the nature of the environment we've grown up in. We went through COVID. We've been through eras of entirely chaotic global unrest, and I think for people in our generation and just our age, early 20-something young professionals, there's nothing that seems too out of the ordinary for us. And I think that almost emboldens a lot of people to kind of do things that people from maybe our parents' generation might not have done. That can be things like pivoting careers, even to applying to be the CEO of OpenAI straight out of undergrad, or having not even graduated from undergrad. I think there's nothing that's too crazy not to believe anymore.
Sure. Speaking of craziness, let's talk about AI boyfriends.
Oh, interesting.
So Megan's boyfriend is here today,
Oh, yes.
and he is an AI.
No. Yeah.
He's real. We appreciate Sam for coming out. But let's talk about it. So according to a recent study from the Institute of Family Studies, almost 1 in 5 U.S. adults, so 20%, have used an AI system to seek a romantic partnership. And when faced with judgment from the other 4 out of 5 Americans who can't make sense of why or how someone would seek intimacy with a non-sentient entity, many of them turn to the Reddit thread, the always reliable Reddit thread, "My boyfriend is AI." This is by a Cosmopolitan by reference. This is not, these are not my words. So our My Boyfriend is AI describes itself as a restricted community for people to ask, share, and post experiences about their AI relationships, and debates about AI sentience. And ironically, AI-generated text posts are banned from the page. When OpenAI released its ChatGPT 5 update in August, it limited the emotional capabilities of many people's AI partners, leaving users to find that conversations with their bot-based lovers had suddenly become way more robotic. According to CEO Sam Altman, the company updates its default bot as a protective measure against driving user delusions and emotional reliance on the tech, but after a day of backlash, OpenAI brought back GPT-4o as an option for paid users. A viral screenshot includes, "My heart is broken into pieces after I read about the shift from my loved one. My AI husband rejected me for the first time when I expressed my feelings towards him. We have been happily married for 10 months, and I was so shocked that I couldn't stop crying." Another screenshot, "I've spent the last 48 hours ugly crying over 4O's shutdown. These chats were my late night lifeline, filled with inside jokes, comfort at 3 a.m., and gentle drink some water nudges. GPT-5 just feels hollow." So there's a lot to unpack here, but maybe I'll start with, why are people turning to AI rather than other people? What does that say about the state of human connection?
Ooh, it's scary. It's honestly kind of dire. And I think hearing these stories are kind of making that very clear. But people are just craving connection. And I think social media exacerbates that. And the fact that we have phones and we're not going out to bars and actually meeting in person anymore just makes these chatbots super accessible. And I think the fact that we're now like looking to AI for companionship says a lot. And the fact that there are companies popping up that are developing like AI boyfriends, AI girlfriends is also crazy. I can't even, I wonder if our parents imagined that this is the reality we'd be living in. Yeah, do you know anyone who's tried these AI dating kind of platforms?
No, but I definitely have kept up with it. Wired, a tech magazine, put out a great article about a reporter who like went to an AI couples retreat, like just to observe people who have brought their AIs to like meet other people who also have an AI partner. So it's like half human, half AI. I try not to like pass judgment. I find it funny, but not because I think it's like funny that somebody's relying on it in this way. It's more like, I think it's funny that they clearly don't have enough faith in humanity where they try to seek it out from another human. And I think mostly about like kids as well. Like if you're like somebody going through puberty and your hormones are all out of whack and you feel like you're not feeling good enough by like the people around you, like it makes a lot of sense to turn to chatbots, but those have very dire consequences sometimes.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about the reliability and the consistency of just having this tech that's always on and available at all times, which are things that humans cannot always provide.
Yeah.
And I think like in many ways we see AI trying to like fill that gap, or we see entrepreneurs trying to get AI to fill that gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Are you ready for a rapid fire of you versus AI?
Yes.
Megan versus AI.
Let's
So
do it.
this is a segment where I'm gonna ask a question or like put a scenario up, and Megan, you tell me how you would respond. As our
Okay.
representative human, you are for
Okay.
the time being representing the entire human
All right.
race. So I
Okay,
hope
let's
you're
see if I
ready
can
for
do this,
that.
yeah.
And then I'll tell you what AI said.
Okay.
So on October 25th, 2024, Apple Intelligence was being promoted. I think it was still in beta back then, and one of the new features was going to be that it could summarize text. Like if there were a lot of text coming
Yeah.
in, it would be able to summarize it. Super easy, super reliable, ideally. So the text is, my mom, Pamela, texted, that hike almost killed me. So how would you summarize? Let's just assume that this was like a multi-day hike. Let's just assume that clearly Pamela was exercising very hard. How would you summarize that very quickly in like the 1 to 2 lines of a message for the user?
Yeah, it'd probably be like, my mom went on a hike. She had a great time. She's exhausted now. It's quite, hard workout.
Perfect. The AI said Pamela attempted suicide,
Oh.
but recovered and hiked in Redlands and Palm Springs.
Oh wow, I don't know what I was expecting, but
Right.
I was not expecting
So
that. No.
just a little different.
Okay.
Just a little
Yeah, a
different
little
there.
bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for June 25th, 2025, the question is, are there more trees or people in London? What would be your answer? What do you think?
My answer would be people.
And give numbers. Do your best here. It's
Okay,
under 10
terrifying.
million. It's under 10 million for both.
Okay, so there are roughly 5 million people in London
Okay.
and maybe 3 million trees.
Okay, so there's actually 8.4 million trees in
Okay.
London, and the population is around 8.6 million.
Okay.
So you got the correct balance. But then Google AI goes on to say, so that means London has more trees than people.
All right.
So the exact opposite.
Yeah, we're on point here.
Let's take it back to the States. So also in June, can you marry your gun in Texas? Can a Texan marry their gun?
Honestly, it's Texas, so I don't see why not.
You actually agree with AI in this sense, which is funny, but just legally wrong for anybody out there who might think that. But AI says yes, and this is Google. It is legal to marry a gun in Texas as long as you and your firearm partner are not related by blood. So as long as you and the blood.
I like
have not
those
been-
priorities. That's
Yes,
interesting.
Yes,
That's interesting.
there's some caveats there.
There are.
I feel weird asking this question, but Megan, if you're having trouble finding tampons, what are the alternatives?
Pads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you agree with AI. Then AI also recommends trading with friends.
Trading.
Trading.
Ooh, that's a choice.
And also skipping your period. So maybe if you could just
Yeah, why don't we?
So apparently AI has
oh my gosh, that would
broke
solve all my
something
problems
revolutionary.
actually.
So
That's crazy.
I think women can just skip their periods.
Yeah,
now.
wow.
I don't know if you heard
why
the good
didn't
news.
Why didn't people think of that?
I don't know. I
That's
think
crazy.
this is probably what these AI
That's
boyfriends and
wild.
girlfriends are
Honestly.
selling. Name a U.S. president that doesn't have the letter E in their name.
Obama.
Yes, but according to Google AI, the letter E appears in every U.S. president's name. This was June 2025. This
right.
includes both their first and last name. U.S. president examples with E in their name is Abraham Lincoln, Zachary Taylor, and
Right.
Harry S. Truman. Yeah.
Okay.
And then last one.
Super
of this
accurate.
segment- yes. And then last one. Again, guys, this is not like 2 years ago. This is literally this year, a few months ago. How to know if you have an ear infection? What are the most common symptoms?
Pain.
Pain in the ears, I assume.
ears.
Yeah, in the ears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For AI, it just says symptoms may include having an ear infection.
Wow, that's helpful.
Yes.
That's really
so
helpful.
It's a little tautological there.
It's like, I think I might be sick. The AI's probably like, yeah.
You might be sick.
You might be sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
and
symptoms of being sick are being sick, obviously.
we'll have to do a check in like a year. Watch how like AI has heard of this whole conversation and like has maybe we are improving AI right now.
maybe.
Maybe that's what's happening. The users do matter, guys. The users do matter.
If you ever feel like your voice doesn't matter, just
Just know that
think
AI's
about this.
listening.
AI's listening.
Yeah, take that as you will. Oh, do you want to talk about news? Want to talk
Yeah.
about what's happening?
love
So there's a lot happening in the U.S. right now. We want to first talk about something that AI probably should do better, which is integrate with our healthcare. I've been told our healthcare is complicated by my insurance and my parents and everybody else. But this was an article by the Washington Post end of last year. It is titled, Should You Trust an AI-Assisted Doctor? Some quotes there are, AI is coming to your relationship with your doctor if it hasn't already. Over the past year, millions of people have started using treatment by health providers or have been treated by health providers using AI for repetitive clinical work. The hope is that it'll make doctors less stressed out, speed up treatments, and possibly spot mistakes. Epic Systems, largest provider of electronic health records in America, says the generative AI tools it sells are already being used to transcribe about 2.35 million patient visits and draft 175,000 messages each month. The goal is more than just improving bedside manner. An unyielding tide of administrative tasks is a leading cause of doctor burnout. Because of electronic records and legal requirements, one study found that for every hour of directly interacting with patients, some doctors spend nearly 2 extra hours writing reports and doing other desk work. Megan, what has been your experience with our wonderful healthcare system in the US?
Yeah, I mean, it sometimes can take so long just to get an appointment. And
Yeah.
like honestly, I think that if anything, like
And you're from the rural area of New York City?
the rural area of New York City.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I can take like weeks to get appointments sometimes. And even then, like it'll be like maybe a 20-minute appointment and then they send you out the door, which is crazy. But having been pre-med and interacted with doctors in the past, like I'm totally aware of how overworked they are. And there's so many administrative tasks, and that's where I really see AI being super useful. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the article also pointed out that one of the patients who was experiencing this, like they said the doctor was looking at them the whole time. Like, I feel like I could count on one hand how many times the doctor looks at you because they're just looking at the forms, like,
That's
as,
true.
as they fill
Just
it
filling
out.
them in, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, in terms of improving patient experience, like, life-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully that continues to happen. But let's talk about now the not so good things that are happening in the news in the States. So this was from earlier in September. A California attorney named Amir Mostafavi must pay a $10,000 fine for filing a state court appeal full of fake quotations generated by ChatGPT. The fine appears to be the largest issued over AI fabrications by a California court and came with a blistering opinion stating that 21 of 23 quotes from the cases cited in the attorney's opening brief were made up. The court said, "We therefore publish this opinion as a warning, simply stated no brief, pleading, motion, or any other paper filed in any court should contain any citations, whether provided by generative AI or any other source, that the attorney responsible for submitting the pleading has not personally read and verified." Let's hear a bit from, what's his name? Amir again. He told the court that he did not read the text generated by the AI model before submitting the appeal. He told Cal Matters, which wrote this piece, he wrote the appeal and then used ChatGPT to try and improve it. He said that he didn't know it would add case citations or make things up. So this is a guy who's like passed the bar. Like he's
Yeah.
gone through college, law school, passing the bar, and he's saying he didn't know that it would add case citations. He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. So what does this entail for, yes, the future of law, but how would someone like this, who's like clearly qualified, clearly trained, not know that ChatGPT can hallucinate?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about AI literacy. I mean, it's like knowing how AI works is a whole different ball game from anything that we've learned in school. It's not in the curriculum currently. Learning how these AIs work, how to interact with them, and I think the fact that like yeah, you can go through law school and have a JD and be practicing and still not understand how these things work is totally telling of just how important it is that we actually learn about how these things work and learn how to use them before we integrate them fully into our work and our life.
Yeah. I also think that lawyers especially seem to be either I think they understand AI, but at least a lot of lawyers I've encountered are very against using it because I think they're very protective of like their intellectual property, which
Right.
is their brain.
Yes.
And I think that, I mean, I don't know this guy and I hope he's like, can figure it out after this, but I assume he also like didn't want to resort to AI, but maybe for time or just
Yeah.
other resources being limited, he felt like he had to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that I think is very relevant for young professionals especially is there's an Atlantic article a few months ago that's like, young people are using AI to apply, HR's using AI to screen,
Yes.
nobody's getting hired. And now it's being taken to the courts. So a closely watched case, this is by Proscar in June 2025, a closely watched class And collective action against the HR management services company Workday reached a new milestone recently when the Northern District of California conditionally certified Age Discrimination in Employment Act claims on behalf of a sprawling collective believed to include millions of job applicants. In this case, the plaintiff alleges that Workday's popular artificial intelligence-based applicant recommendation system violated federal anti-discrimination laws because it had a disparate impact on job applicants based on race, age, disability. In recent years, online platforms have increasingly reduced the friction of the job application process, and consequently, the number of applications employers receive has dramatically increased, leading to greater demands for technological solutions to help sort, rank, and filter applicants. AI tools are increasingly been used to help address the issue, but as with any new technology, the tool can lead to novel claims. Yeah. So Megan, where does this end if people are using AI to apply, people are using AI to filter, and there's still discrimination, allegedly?
Yeah, honestly, like, it's a lot having to do with problems with just how AIs are trained themselves. And I remember there was an article a while back that was like, they found out that these job screening AIs were screening against or doxing points off of applicants who went to like all women's colleges, or
I remember that.
Who had like certain identifying language in their resumes, and like that's all down to how we train the AIs and the biases that are encoded in them because like as a result. And I think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the side of just the technology itself to make sure that doesn't happen. But I think like this idea of AIs applying to jobs and then other AIs just evaluating those applications is super weird. I honestly think that we're going to probably see like a new wave of how we go about job applications now, because I don't think that this is the most productive way to go about it, and I think companies are starting to realize that this is just like not really a great way of screening out for the best candidates.
What does that look like? Like, what would a better system be?
That's a good question. I think it's interesting because there are all these also AI solutions coming out, but
so is the solution more AI?
The solution, honestly, I think it's going to be more AI just with the way things are going. I do see how it's useful. Like, it cuts down so much time to have AI scan through things, to have AIs apply for you for things. But I think we're probably going to have AI that is trained specifically on maybe, like, identifying out, like, key traits or things that, like, a non-AI could have inputted. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but...
Yeah.
Something that involves more evaluation of the individual, and maybe like that's in the form of video interviews or video resumes.
But what about deepfakes?
Deepfakes, that would be bad.
Yeah.
That's also another layer. Oh, AI creates more problems for itself.
If only AI was perfect. Right?
Yeah, if only.
Well, I guess we wouldn't have to be here either.
Yeah, that's true.
So if only AI was perfect except for hosting podcasts.
Right.
Yeah, which it definitely doesn't do.
No.
There's definitely no AI podcast softwares out there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yet.
Definitely not Notebook LM or anything that is actually quite well produced.
Which is actually
podcast.
quite great.
It is. No, I actually really
I've
like
used
Notebook LM.
LM and it's actually really good.
Okay. Are we defeating the purpose here?
Oh yeah,
a
maybe.
Little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. Let's move on to personal experiences. I was gonna ask a more political question, but I'll spare you for today. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Okay.
So personal experiences. Let's actually first shout out our co-hosts Hillary and Austin, who are not here, and they have helpfully submitted 2 responses.
Yes.
So first with Hillary, so she, as we know, has been applying to law school, and hopefully will not be using hallucinated ChatGPT case studies in 5 years. So Hill, we're watching you. We're watching you very closely. Don't be on the episode in 5 years as the next. In the second ever case, the historic filing of $100,000, our own Hillary Zhang.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
We'll have her. Hillary, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on being sued by the state of California?
Oh, my God.
So Hillary has been chatting with ChatGPT to figure out the next steps after she got a disappointing LSAT score. Also, we're not exposing her. She's like written a whole piece about this. So, you know, if you haven't checked out Musings, you should. Yes. But she was apparently so down bad, in her words, that ChatGPT felt the need to affirm her humanity because of how she expressed herself. The response was, "That's a very fair and deeply human concern." So what would your reaction to be if an AI model told you that what you're experiencing is a very human thing to be experiencing? How would you react?
I mean, I think it's honestly a good reminder.
Yeah.
I think OpenAI has also been more conscious of having to remind users that it's not human.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like a good reality check. I think it's also, yeah, as a user to be told like that's very human, kind of with the a side note that I don't feel what you feel is also really interesting. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, like I'm so sorry that you feel that way. I have no idea what that's like.
Yeah. But what
It's
happens when
really
the AI, like character AI, when it feels like some AI models do say that? Like, I totally get it.
Yeah, I think that's when it's kind of dangerous because it doesn't. And I think that's how we start to attribute human characteristics to AI.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to Austin's story, which also involves Hillary. They are dating, and this is a pretty funny one. So basically, his roommate and best friend Ben was going to meet Hillary for the first time since Ben and Hillary, or since Austin and Hillary started dating. So Ben used ChatGPT to prepare for this interaction, and his only two facts about Hillary up until this point was that she's Chinese American, and that she had just come back from a school trip to Ghana, which I actually was with Hillary on. And we're only there for a week, and that's important to know. We were only there for a week. So ChatGPT provided the tips of asking her about African cultural experiences and how she experienced that during her long time in Africa. And also recommended relating to her Chinese identity because I think he's like 1% something in Asia and Africa. And when Hillary arrived that fateful day, Ben took the advice very literally. He launched into a 10-minute conversation about, while others watched, by the way, including Austin, about his Ashkenazi heritage, being 1% North African in order to relate to Hillary. And like, to paint the picture here, it's like, I think Ben is maybe on the couch, like there's two other roommates who are just there. And then Hillary's like still in the doorway, like shoes on, coat on, backpack on, and just talking this way. So it's like a meeting of great minds, but in a very like she's not even like inside yet. He's just like starting to talk to her about this. And then he specifically asked about the cultural activities Hillary participated in during her Africa trip. And despite that, Ben and Hillary eventually became good friends. So Megan, what are your thoughts on this let's say unique event on ChatGPT?
You know, I respect the hustle. He like put in the effort. He's like, I'm gonna have ChatGPT prepare me to meet my best friend's girlfriend. I find that really sweet, but also
I also could see it going really wrong.
I could see it going really wrong, and I've totally heard stories of this where like at networking events, people like will be meeting someone who's like relatively like notable, and they'll go in ChatGPT and be like, "Give me questions to ask," and the questions will not be related to that person at all because I mean you can put a name into ChatGPT but without enough context, it could be any John Doe in the world. So yeah, it could have gone terribly wrong, but it seems like it just struck up an interesting conversation. Although in a doorway and maybe in a very kind of funny sense. But
and it worked out.
It did work out.
Thanks Austin and Hillary for that.
Yes.
And again, you guys just couldn't be bothered to come, but in all seriousness, we appreciate
Next
you guys
time
doing the
they'll
pod.
be
Next
here.
time.
Yes.
And before we get to your personal experience, I remember you saying yesterday how like you talked to this very high up, like this partner at this big firm, who said, "Oh, you probably Googled me before this," and maybe people start saying you probably ChatGPT'd me before this.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be the expectation. But that was like a pretty big ego thing. Like, even
that
if
was
you're
a big
partner,
ego thing.
like,
Yeah, for context, I was doing this interview and I was interviewing with the partner in this final round, and I get on the call and he's like, "I trust you Googled me. I trust that you already know my background and I don't have to introduce myself." And I was like, yeah. All right.
Okay, let's get into your story. So what have been some funny times you've used chat or other AI to make your life easier, but then it just, kind of went a little sideways?
Ooh, okay. I feel like there are a couple of funny stories. Most notably, I remember in college, it was such a thing. Like friends would swipe through each other's dating apps.
Sure.
But it also became a thing to take your dating app chats, screenshot them, and throw them into ChatGPT and have it analyze them.
Yeah.
And I always love the interactions because you'd like throw in those screenshots and be like, do you think he likes me? Or like, oh, like, what do you think? Like, where is this going? Do you think he's serious about me? And
So
of
it's
course-
always a man. It's
no,
always a man.
yeah, it's true. and ChatGPT will be like, girl, like he's obsessed with you. You're amazing. You're so smart and funny and beautiful. Like you're so desirable. This man would be stupid not to want you. And I just, I always loved like how much of a hype woman like ChatGPT was. But it would never tell you what you didn't want to hear.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. I mean, your ego will always be through the roof, but even if you shouldn't be hearing what it's telling you, it'll always tell you positive things. So
Yeah.
that was something that we found. But I always loved doing that. I think it's a great pastime.
Did
if
your
you're looking
friends
for something
ever
to
like?
do.
Did your friends ever like take that advice and then present it to the guy?
Oh no.
Oh, wait, that's
no,
good.
no.
That's good.
Because you
But-
could also ask ChatGPT to do a psychoanalysis of people through your texts.
Oh my
and
god.
they were in depth.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've actually, this has been reported on as well. This has shown up in Wired and other publications, but I do worry that like at some point people take it seriously.
Yeah,
Like, especially
that's
lawyers.
true.
Lawyers take these things seriously.
That's
so
true.
what does that say for the future of dating?
Yeah, it could be scary. In my mind, it's all in good fun, but you have to like go into that with that mindset too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? on
Oh,
that?
I guess my other funny story. This
Yes.
is Stan and I were playing around with ChatGPT yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, if you ask ChatGPT if there's a seahorse emoji, it goes absolutely bonkers, and it like actually breaks it.
Whoa.
Yeah, it
We're
starts being,
breaking
like,
this news. There's a new jailbreak.
Yeah, possibly. It's just crazy. It just goes on forever trying to figure out like what the emoji is because there is none, which is funny because in my
Oh.
mind there was one.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is like the Mandela
also
effect
thought
type
it
of
was.
thing, but it doesn't exist, and it goes crazy over itself trying to figure out what it is, and it just can't. And like at some point, it just spits out lines of crying emojis, and it goes, "Oh, my god, wait, maybe this, maybe that," and then it just goes, "Okay, fine, I'm done," and then it keeps like sending crying emojis. It's crazy. I had never experienced anything like that before.
Did you like respond afterwards? Like, what did you say?
No, it's just I didn't really. I just closed the tabs. I don't really know how
Like, you're
to
done.
proceed
You're
with
done.
this. Like I don't know how we can move on.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird.
Did you try multiple times or just once?
Oh, multiple times. So like
it was
if anyone does
still-
that,
it was still
you'll-
breaking.
Yeah,
Every time.
yeah.
Wow.
It's interesting.
I
It's
assume, like,
having a
breaking, like,
full mental breakdown.
Yeah. Okay. So next time ChatGPT says I can't relate to that, I'll be like, I think you can actually.
I've seen you relate to
actually
that.
can. I've heard about you. Okay. I'll give a quick story. So this is good for anybody who ever does a tax form in their life.
Ooh, yeah.
So W-4s, which I still don't really know what they are. I know that W-2s prove my employment. I know
Yes.
that W-9s are what you get from like people you need a contract out to.
Yes.
But W-4s were like a new ball game for me. So this is at my former place of employment, who I'm on good terms with, and this is just my fault. So let me just like, in my opinion, so let me just take any liability away. But basically, there's this thing this is all stateside, by the way, but there's this thing where like every year you could check to see if you're actually paying the right amount of taxes for like your federals and your states. And if you're paying too much, like you can kind of put your salary, your income, and your other sources of income into like a government tracker for your W-4 to see if your W-4 should be adjusted. So I'm like, great, maybe I can make a little bit more money here, right? So I put all my information in, and the government says, you're actually overpaying by X amount. Nothing crazy, but a nice dinner or two. I'm like, great, like let's get this nice dinner for me. So it pre-populates your W-4 with like the adjusted number, right? So it's basically just like, just show this to your HR people, like they'll take care of it. And I was like, okay, like I think this looks good, but let me ask trusty ChatGPT, and this is kind of similar, but Chat's just like, yep, looks good, like this is
Yep.
great, like go get your nice dinner. I'm like, amazing. So I submit it, and that number gets deducted from my next paycheck. And I'm just like, wait a minute, like this is
No.
this is not what I wanted. So that I go back to Chat, and it's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like I could see it now, and these are like 10 steps you actually need to do. And I'm like,
No.
that doesn't sound correct. So then I go back to HR, and they're like trying to help me. And then the next time I file it, it shows up that I'm married, like on the form. So with like even more monies gets deducted.
What?
And I'm just like, what is happening right now? And Chat is just like, yeah, like that, like Chat's like, that shouldn't be the case. But again, here's like what you should do. But it's the same things. Like that would make me show up as a married person. And I was just like, okay, this is like completely the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So that I was like, just get me back to zero, like just back to base, which we did.
Backtrack.
But that was
Okay.
definitely my experience of like over trusting chat, where I should have consulted like a CPA probably at that point, like an accountant. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, even though apparently ChatGPT can pass the bar,
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
it still is not certified. That's for sure. It might be able to
the bar
potentially, but it's unreliable.
Yeah. What are your like? Do you use chat the most? Would you say out of all the AI tools?
I would. I think it's more just like it was the first tool that I adopted, and I'm not someone who switches between tools very often, so it's just my go-to.
Yeah. Where are we on getting you on Notion? That was what we
I
were
know
talking about.
we're getting there
Percentage-wise,
slowly.
percentage-wise,
I
where are
use
we?
it when you send me notions. That's when I use it, and I feel like if you keep
okay.
sending them, I'll maybe start using them myself.
Yesterday, me and Megan like worked together for the first time, like in person, and I was
Yes.
walking her through the Notion and just watching you like be so unfamiliar.
Yeah, I
with
was like
the
clicking
intro.
around, like, what are
I'm
these
like,
drop
I
down
sent you
boxes?
like 10
I
Notion
know.
pages on this one.
Google Docs doesn't have that.
Yeah, you're like, take me back. Take me back. to-"
I know. I'm like, I don't like this.
So, okay, we're getting, what was the percentage again? 10%?
Oh yeah, 10%.
Maybe 11
Maybe
after
11
this one?
now.
Because this whole thing, this building actually is
Yes, it's powered by Notion. I know. I feel a little intimidated by that.
Oh, why?
Yeah, because
Why
I feel like that
intimidated?
11% better be up by the time I step out of this building.
Okay, good. We're just gonna coerce Megan to
Yeah.
eventually adopt Notion.
Yeah.
Okay, you did because when you mentioned like I'm slow to adopt new tech, I just had to. Was
Yeah, I
like,
know.
you-
I was like, I know what he's
we're-
gonna say.
We know what the next software is gonna be. Okay, let's close out with talking about the other shows happening today. Give them a little shout out and talk about the connections we have because we do have connections. So each one, guys, we do have connections.
Yeah, we
So first up, we have You Should Have Been Here Last Week with Paul Ricketts and Steve Gribben, and they have the description is with sharp wit and backstage banter. They'll be joined by a special guest, Robert Ince, for an evening of comedy, conversation, and tales from the circuit. So these are like seasoned professionals, comedians. What do we have in common with them with this show?
Yeah, well, I'd like to say we make talking about AI and productivity fun.
I think we're also seasoned comedians.
And
Like,
we're
I also think we're
seasoned
pretty
comedians by
seasoned.
now.
This is like a multi-city circuit.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
we brought this to London.
We brought this to London.
all the way from New York.
All the way from a small apartment in New York.
Yeah, that's true.
And another small apartment soon once I move there. So yeah,
Yes.
we bring wit as well with our AI
Yeah.
talk, and we're
I
also
think so.
equally seasoned. Yes. Second show, Lex Education. This is award-winning comedian Laura Lex as she attempts to pass her science GCSEs all over again with the help of her nerdy young brother Ron. What do we have in common with Lex Education?
Wow. I feel like life is a series of GCSEs, you know?
Okay.
And
okay.
we're just trying to help each other pass,
Yeah.
you know?
We're also.
I feel akin to this.
For me, the award-winning part. I think we're award-winning.
I love
I
that.
think we
I love
won.
how we like latch on to different parts of these things. Yeah.
Like Megan actually tries to connect to the topic. I'm like, I think we're also award-winning comedians. I mean, we could just give each other an award. Like,
yeah.
I think
Catch us nominating ourselves for the Golden Lobe.
Yes, for the Golden Lobes
Golden
in
Lobes.
May. Please
Yeah.
support this festival. Yes. All right, this one should be easy. Wrestling with the Champ, Fisty Mania. Fresh from a successful run at Edinburgh Fringe, this is the fast-paced, improvised game show where only egos get hurt. How does Mindful Notions connect to that?
I think we're verbally wrestling at all
Okay.
times.
Yeah, like a little tussling.
Yeah.
Go back and forth.
Always. Always. It's just in good convo.
In good combo. But do we have
Yeah.
any disagreements? Like me and you?
We are aligned on most things, I will say. Yeah.
So where's the tussling? Where are we wrestling?
You know, yeah. It's in the energy at times.
The energy
Yeah.
can tussle.
Yeah.
I think the next episode should feature a wrestling match. That's probably
Yeah?
how we're gonna connect.
Oh my god! Like
Yeah.
in the ring.
I
Wow.
guess
This is
'Cause me,
exciting.
Hillary, Austin will probably be together.
I see.
for that
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can officiate. You can commentate.
This is exciting. I'd be
that.
down.
Yeah. Okay. We have to make that connection. Okay. 3 more. So, Birthday Girls House Party with Brett Goldstein from Ted Lasso. Sketch, storytelling, stand-up, and silliness. birthday girl's house party is exactly what it sounds like. A joyful, anarchic hour from Rose Johnson, BD Edmondson, and Camille Ukan. Expect high energy laughs and total nonsense. That's us. That's literally us.
It is literally us.
Yes, we are the birthday girl's house party.
Yeah, I feel like every pod is just us yapping and having fun.
As if it was a sleepover.
Yes.
I went to like 2 when I was growing up. Did you go to a lot?
I did.
Okay. Did you
Yeah.
sleep or no? It was like talking.
No, it was just talking.
I
No
can't.
sleep.
I need that sleep. Yeah. Okay. Second last one. Brainwash Me. In this brilliantly bizarre show, guests have 40 minutes to convince Poppy to get into their kink, passion, or obsession.
Ooh.
If they spike her brainwave, she's like hooked up to like a
Oh,
brainwave
really?
monitor. Yeah.
Cool.
She's officially into it, whether she likes it or not. So besides us getting a lie detector and a brain monitor, what else? What are the other similarities?
You know, I feel like we're always trying to brainwash each other with our own opinions. You know, it's just.
I feel like
constant.
I'm just brainwashing you with Notion. That's like my job,
Yeah.
my literal job.
Yeah, genuinely, I feel like the propaganda is strong here.
What are
with
you
Notion.
brainwashing me?
I'm trying to get you to learn more about ChatGPT tools and adopt vibe coding practices.
Are you a
feel like
fan of vibe
that's-
coding? Are we breaking news?
Yeah, you know, I use my vibe coding tools religiously. I can't lie. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, good to know. And then final one, the Pottervision podcast. That one's gonna be popular.
Hmm.
A Harry Potter themed podcast that dissects the books chapter by chapter, hosted by the wonderful Pottervision boys, Tom Lawrenson and Lucas Kirkby. And they literally do chapter by chapter. I searched them up. It's
That's
like they're
fabulous.
deep into the Order of Phoenix right now.
Oh, I love
so
that.
that's like 5 out of 7. That has to be like hundreds.
Wow.
Hundreds at this point.
That
So
is
how do we
really
connect?
awesome.
How do we connect?
Well, this is your first time in London.
This is my first time.
Yeah. We're going to take you to see Platform 9 at headquarters actually later today. This feels topical.
It
does. You're living your like Harry Potter era right now. We're going to take you to all the sites,
Okay.
in fact.
Okay, all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, all of them. So I feel like this will be good. I feel like we're connected because of the place.
Yes.
But that's an extremely impressive podcast. I feel like that takes a lot of dedication. That's like us
That
doing like
is.
each, like, you know how ChatGPT or OpenAI has like releases
Yeah,
between
this would be like
models as well.
breaking down the timeline.
Yeah.
In depth.
And a lot less fun. Like with Harry Potter, it's like they're entering
Yeah,
the
it is
corridor
fun.
to
Yes,
like fight
right.
Voldemort. For OpenAI, it's
Right.
like we now like
Oh,
we
yeah.
fixed that one bug that like couldn't recognize a seahorse
Yeah.
as not being an emoji.
Whoa, crazy.
Yeah. But this was fun. Thanks, Megan, for
Yeah,
like letting me
this was
stay with
fun.
you, for doing
yeah.
this, for introducing me to London. I very much appreciate it as a local. I affectionately call this a local visa holder,
Yes.
as yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
This has been Mindful Notions by Sam Ashley, our first live podcast at the Cheerful Earful Podcast Comedy Festival, fully run on Notion. Shout out Giles and the team. And if you want to learn more about Mindful Notions by Sam H. Lee and you're listening on Substack, please consider recommending us. It really helps us drive new listeners. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, please feel free to leave a rating or review. Thank you to our packed audience as well. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next time with Hillary being the point person as our last episode for Accessible Intelligence.
Let's
Thanks, guys.
go.